They said it would never happen. They said we would never be back.
But
here we are.
it happened. And the music's still fucking playing.
Welcome to episode 1
of the
Season
official
1.
Reboot of 808s Live, formerly known as 808s and Study Breaks on Wiley Radio.
Yes.
But now we're independent, baby.
We're
our own
independent.
fucking thing.
We got a video feed, and we got video needs.
You want to just freestyle for the rest of the episode?
No. We'll not be doing that.
Yeah, you don't want cooked by me. It's okay.
Okay, let's see. Let's double check. Make sure the stream is good. That we are live. Looking good on the broadcast. We're going to need some more viewers, though. We're going to need to get those numbers up. No, just kidding. All right, let's just jump into it. Who says that?
I think everyone.
No, there's one guy.
Let's just jump into it.
Let's just jump into it. That's one
like
guy.
Watch Mojo or some shit.
I don't think it's Watch Mojo.
You don't watch enough Watch Mojo then.
Counting down the top 5 Kendrick disses. You
Top-
think that's a video on Watch Mojo?
Probably nowadays. I haven't on Watch Mojo since I was like, dude, I would remember I was like so young, and I would watch like gaming and Watch Mojos and stuff. And there was a thumbnail. It was top 10 creepypastas, and the thumbnail was Jeff the Killer.
Whoa.
And it would scare me every time as a child.
That's scary.
Yeah, I hated that as a kid. I remember I would read like creepypastas and like, oh, thanks.
Sorry.
I would.
You gotta have it like close, like almost touching your face.
Yeah, I would read creepypastas, and I was never a big horror guy. I didn't like jump scares. I still don't. But I liked reading about it. But they would have the pictures of like the creepypastas on there, and the Jeff the Killer one always got me every time.
Yeah.
I hated that one so much.
I would watch like videos, like creepypasta reading videos, and I knew if I watched it, I wouldn't be able to sleep for like a week.
Yeah.
But it was like a drug. Like I couldn't not do it. I can't. I need to watch it. I need to
Yes.
watch another creepypasta video.
I was very similar, except I was reading them, but yeah, very similar boat to that. Like I remember I would watch like the Lost episode ones were always classic. Squidward
SpongeBob.exe.
Yeah, the Ben Drowned. That's a
Ben Drowned.
classic. Shit. All right. Well, do you want to start us off with something?
Yeah, we got topics.
Hit me.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay, let's get it out of the way. Kendrick was at the freaking Super Bowl.
Oh, the
guys.
Super Bowl performance.
Who watched
yeah.
that? Sports fans.
Yeah, that was good. I thought it was really good. I thought it was very creative. Was last year? What was last year's Super Bowl performance? Because at some point it was like, a bunch of rappers. Like there was like 50 Cent.
I don't think
like,
that was last year.
I don't know. I don't fucking watch football. At least not NFL. But I thought the Super Bowl performance was good. I think I was surprised. I wasn't surprised, but he had 0 songs like nothing like from Good Kid, Mad City or T-Pab or anything older than. I don't even know what the oldest song he played was.
He played some like stuff off Damn, I think.
Yeah, like the oldest song he played was like Humble, and I think he played DNA as well. So I was kind of surprised that he didn't even like. I figured he'd play at least like Mad City maybe or like something hype off of there.
Nah,
but
that's too underground.
yeah, only true 808s watchers know that album.
True,
but it kind of makes sense, like what's that album called? GNX.
Yeah,
that just kind of dropped recently. That was the last thing he dropped since performing. So it kind of makes sense that he just played stuff off of that and nothing really else.
Yeah,
and he played Not Like Us.
True,
and that was
controversial. Some may say
it did kind of suck that like obviously it had to be like blurred out like a lot of the words in it and shit. But
yeah,
I think he still got his point across. That is like surreal though. Like that is like the biggest stage ever to play music on, and he got to call Drake a pedophile on TV. Oh, he didn't say pedophile, but
yeah, he did. It's interesting what they censor and what they don't censor.
Yeah,
like,
I'm so surprised they didn't censor, or they did censor pedophile.
Yeah,
but,
I don't
like,
know.
He was able to say Drake, I know you like him young,
Yeah, you think
Which-
he'll be sued for it, or is
I
he
don't know.
already being sued?
I
think
heard about that, like, well, because he mentioned it in the show, didn't he? He said something
Yeah,
like,
he said like, I'm gonna get sued. I think
Yeah.
that was exactly. He said,
yeah,
I'm gonna get sued.
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, probably. Like, didn't Drake try to sue him for like the disses and shit? Like,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I think maybe there's already lawsuits happening.
yeah, I don't know. There's always lawsuits. Like, do you remember? I don't know when this was, but MIA got sued for when she was performing at the Super Bowl. She was performing with someone, but she flipped off the camera.
I think I saw a post of that.
Yeah, and she got like sued. Like they went for a lot of money, and I think someone helped her pay it off. I forget who it was, but because she wasn't like, super big at the time of that. Like, I think she was kind of just like, she wasn't like the main performer at the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, she was like a guest. And someone, I thought it was like Madonna or something, like helped pay it off, but that's
Shout
like,
out.
yeah, I don't know. It could be any of those one, like Madonna, Rihanna, Beyonce, like, I don't know. Any of them one named awesome female artists.
Okay. It was good. The performance was good. Very artistic and creative. If you want like a in-depth analysis of the various imagery, we're not going to do that. So everyone else has already done that. And that's the only reason why. We are very capable of doing that, and we have all the accolades necessary to do that otherwise, but it's just already been done.
Yeah, so. We try to strive for originality in these parts. It was kind of funny. I went on Facebook. I'm a big Facebook guy. You know, that's my main social media, you could say. I really resonate with the crowd on there, but I was going through the comment sections of like people talking about the Super Bowl performance, and every single person was like, "Worst halftime show yet." Like, rap does not belong on a big performance like that. It's not a good live performance genre.
Yeah.
I saw some old man was like, "All this person was rapping about was like." I don't even know. Like every like thing that a geezer says about rap music, you know, which is really funny because it was like glorifying gang culture and stuff like that, which is kind of funny because that is like the opposite of what he's doing pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's very clear that those people were not really listening to the music, but I don't know. What else do you expect from the Facebook crowd? I mean, I feel like they hate on every single halftime show nowadays. Like, sorry, it's not fucking Van Halen or any of those fuckers.
Yeah, there's no Bon Jovi halftime
No,
show.
no Bon Jovi halftime show equal bad, according to the crowd.
Yeah.
Do you like Bon Jovi? What did Bon Jovi make? Like,
It's My Life, I think.
I don't know. I'm not.
You do recognize it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a big Bon Jovi guy.
There's some song about America, maybe. Well, that's not. That's just a lucky guess.
Yeah, just a guess.
Yes.
And Guevara.
Oh yes.
So Ghais Guevara, if you don't know, is a rapper from Philly, and he's very he's got a very good sound, very unique sound. Some people like to compare him to JPEG Mafia. I think because of his production is very loud and overproduced almost, very sample heavy. And we used to talk about him a lot on the old show back in the day. We've been big fans of him for a couple of years. And he just dropped an album very recently, like a couple months ago maybe. And like very recently.
2 weeks ago.
And the intro song as like his Kendrick's performance was starting was actually one of his songs. It was Guevara's songs, which was really cool to see because he does not really get any mainstream recognition. Like, I'd say the most like mainstream recognition he's getting is from like kind of those Instagram pages that cover like underground sound type of music. So
Hyperpop Daily. Yeah. He's not even getting Hyperpop Daily.
No, he's getting like he's on like Pigeons and Planes.
Yeah,
type
stuff
of,
like that.
Yeah, so it was really cool to see him get recognition. I will say I'm not huge on his like him as a person. Like, I think he has some pretty like not controversial views. Like, I think he stands for good stuff, but he definitely like goes. He kind of is similar to Peggy in the way he goes about like talking about things and interacting with fans, which I don't think is great. But you know, I'm not a hip hop artist, so it's not my place to talk about what he shouldn't and shouldn't do. But regardless of that, he makes pretty damn good music, and I think it was really cool to see him get his flowers for that.
Bangers. Yeah, it was crazy. It was playing like right as they zoomed in. This is like the most dystopian shit ever. It's like his song was playing right as they zoomed into the Apple logo, into a tunnel of the Apple logo onto the thing. It's like, okay, that's absurd that that's even happening. But yeah, no, it was pretty awesome.
I did not recognize it when it first happened. I will say I haven't really listened to the new album that much just because I've been kind of off of hip hop for a little bit. I've listened to songs off of it, but I don't know it enough to like like recognize the song if it was like played. But it was like I saw it afterwards, and I thought it was really cool to see him get recognized for that. Because he does deserve. I mean, he does work his ass off. So it's really cool. I'm excited to see what he does next. Hopefully, he goes on tour for his album and whatnot, and starts to gain more traction from all of that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes from there.
So sorry. End it. Fucking end it. This shit sucks. What I was gonna say is, so where does Drake stand in all of this now? Because, he's been kind of, obviously the beef's been kind of over for a while now, but obviously him getting called a pedophile pretty much on the biggest audience in television was what?
Keep talking. I don't have time to type.
So the beef's been over, but he gets called a pedophile on live TV to like millions of people. How does he recover from this as an artist? Because obviously it's Drake, right? He is like one of the biggest artists in the world. He'll always have a following, but can he get like respect from the general hip hop community? Can he get that back? Because right now I don't think he has it.
It's hard to say. I will say that reading through the comments, which is never a good idea. I don't think that's a great way to crowdsource the general opinion, but reading through the comments, there definitely are people who are not against him, or at least against Kendrick. I don't know. This seems like so like, which side are you on type of conversation, but there definitely does seem to be some positive sentiment for him. Like, I don't think it's this thing where like he's like cooked forever now. But this is the reason I was looking that up is because this is the latest picture that he posted.
Ooh, he's looking kind of fit in that, I will say.
For those who are watching along at home, it's him shirtless taking a picture in like the window in front of a pool. Very 15-year-old Instagram core.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's kind of how he's always been.
That is kind of how he always
is. Like Drake's the type of guy to like,
yeah.
And it's like some like cliche like float to the pie whenever it's like in the window type of thing. Like,
yeah, I mean, his Instagram handle is literally Champagne Poppy. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's
I
feel like
immature.
My thought on that is like, has Drake really had that much respect in the hip hop community in the last like 5 or so years? Like, I feel like since like post Scorpion, he hasn't really like dropped anything that's garnered like enough respect to be like for people to view him as one of the top rappers. Like, people do, but I think it's not like, I think Kendrick has been viewed as like someone who puts out really good work for like ever, and Drake's kind of fallen off in terms of his output. So I think it's going to be harder for him to recover because he was already kind of on the downfall before all this happened. This was kind of like the final straw, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I do. I get what you're saying. I would agree. I think it depends. What do you mean by like respect? Like, how do you define that?
I guess like that's a good question. I feel like I'm thinking of like general like at rap comment section type of people.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't really know like if people from the industry really care, like other rappers or like anyone like working behind the like producers or any of those types of people. But I guess like the general public and like, because obviously like people who are like really into hip hop and like the music nerd crowd has never really been like big Drake fans anyway. It's mainly like the more casual hip hop fan that you would call like a Drake fan. So, but even those people are like slamming Drake in the comment sections of those types of Instagrams. So
yeah, it's hot to hate on him right now. I feel like if anything, the industry side of it will turn on him more than anything, because you're just making enemies. Like, it's not a good look. Like, business works when, I mean, it works when people hate each other, as we've seen, but it works when people like each other, because you don't want to pair up artists on like albums and whatnot, and then you have the fans of one of the artists be like, I'm boycotting this album because it has Drake on it, which I don't know if that will happen. I think the people Drake normally collabs with, like 21 Savage, and
but
like,
doesn't 21 not like him anymore?
I
feel like there's
no idea.
Something about him not liking 21 anymore, or 21 not liking him anymore. But like, yeah, that's a good point.
That kind of crowd, it's a very mainstream crowd.
Right.
So
like, I mean,
don't
he's
know
dropping the album with Party Next Door for Valentine's Day, and I feel like it's a similar crowd.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out, because especially like Party Next Door is, I think, way less like rap fans, even, and more of like R&B kind of
he's an
fan.
R&B
So
guy. So Drake's definitely gonna probably play into
which I think is
the
a
certified
more,
lover boy side of his. Like,
it's a more like mainstream kind of audience who maybe is not exactly tapped in. Like I'm sure they've heard about the Drake Kendrick stuff, but like they're probably not watching the live stream, drops. And
yeah, and
whatever.
they don't
like,
really give a fuck at the end of the day.
Yeah,
like,
they're there to listen to music.
Like in all like reality, no one really gives a fuck anymore about it. Like I think if you genuinely still care about the Drake and Kendrick beef at this point, you need to grow the fuck up. Like let's be honest.
Yeah, if you're talking about that on a show right now,
it's
like what are you
pretty
doing?
fucking pathetic. Like,
exactly, just a waste of time. No, it is. I think this is interesting. I think it's interesting that it escalated to this point where now Kendrick is at the Super Bowl, like dissing him, which is like.
That is
kind of the max level
crazy.
diss you could ever get.
Yes.
There probably has never been any beef ever of any type in history where you have that level of a platform to like diss someone,
Yeah.
Except for maybe like a king back in the day who was like making a decree against
King
someone
George,
to like their whole
yeah.
like it is that level of like every person, like almost not almost everyone in America, but like a ton of people watch that, and like even if they don't know what it is.
I mean, the Super Bowl is the most televised like thing on like of the year every year, right? I think it's like usually.
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, if I had to take a guess, it would be, but
yeah. The second is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
yeah.
No, I'm curious what the second is.
That's
more
know.
interesting.
I think like the college football championship's pretty high. I think it's always gonna be sporty events. Probably. Like the Macy's parade is pretty high. Like like presidential debates when they happen are probably pretty high.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Like, I'm curious if like any TV show like finales ever make that list. Like,
probably.
I'm trying to think of TV show
when
finales.
they had TV shows.
Back when
on
TV
TV.
shows on TV were relevant. Probably like the Breaking Bad one was pretty relevant.
Yeah.
I guess like now we're talking about like the Drake's relevance in hip hop. I think it's really interesting that the biggest artists in hip hop are kind of still the biggest artists in hip hop like 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Like you have Drake, you have Kendrick, you have Tyler. When are like these newer generations of rappers gonna take over? Because like there's no way like Drake and Kendrick are gonna be on top forever,
Yeah.
Like, eventually the new gen's gonna have to take over, and you're starting to see it already. Like Ken Carson is really big. Like those Opium guys are pretty big. Obviously you have Cardi who's really big, even though he doesn't drop anything. So when are you gonna see more new generation rappers start taking over the mainstream?
That is a good question. I think honestly, this could be a very half-baked idea that could be very wrong, but I feel like it's because rap was the most popular genre for a while that then it kind of boxed out the new talent. Like there are a lot of new artists coming up. I think like I don't want to say names because if I say someone's name, they're gonna be like, that person was famous for 10 years. You just didn't know about them.
You're not niche enough, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like I feel like there are artists that come up that came.
What? What?
I was gonna say there are artists that came up, and then I was gonna just say that exact same thing again. So I stopped.
You heard it here first. Artists have came.
Likely, yes, I would say.
Likely.
That's probably true.
I think you're starting to see it now. I think Doechii has been coming up pretty hard recently.
I was going to say that, but Doechii has made music. I was going to say that, and then I was like, oh, I know of a Doechii song for like years ago.
Yeah, and I think obviously like artists have been making music like before they blew up, but I think the fact that like Doechii was not getting Grammy nominations like
true.
2 years ago. So she's obviously blowing up recently.
Addison Rae was not relevant as an artist.
Shout out
2 years ago.
She made Aquamarine.
Yeah.
Shout out Aquamarine. I'm curious, what caused Doechii to blow up like she did?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think those. Now, not to say like.
Oh, because she was on the Tyler album. That kind of helped probably.
Probably.
And like her release was kind of concurrent with that.
I feel like rap was such a monolith for so long that it kind of boxed out people. So then like less other non-rap genres had kind of a chance for new talent to spring up. It kind of goes in cycles, Eventually like think about Eminem. When Eminem fell off, that probably like crushed rap in a way.
Yeah.
Like when the people who we like now, like Kendrick, Drake, whoever are gonna when they are like falling off, it's gonna like shift stuff, right? Because like people and you could say there maybe is a slow decline, especially for like Drake. They're definitely in numbers. Is there a decline? Probably a little bit. Probably not realistically. He's still probably in the top charts of every.
But there's definitely
service.
a decline in quality for sure. But that's
Yeah.
like subjective, obviously. But
Yeah.
in my personal opinion,
I think
as a big Drake guy, I think he's personally fallen off.
I don't know if I would say Drake has fallen off. I guess it depends what you mean by that. Like
Subjective term, you could say.
in terms of numbers, I don't think he's fallen off.
Yeah.
In terms of like as an artist, who's to say?
This is coming from the guy that's #1 artist every year is Drake. So take everything he has with a grain of salt.
I will say I think I am in a position to talk about this because I do like Drake. I'm coming out and saying it. I think Drake does make good music, and I do listen to Drake. So, I'm tapped into the Drake discog a bit. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, definitely. I'm not bumping any of the latest few albums, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like it's kind of like a big company, right? Like when you have a big company, they can take some hits and they're not going to collapse overnight. Like he's up. Everyone knows his name. Like he can put out mid albums for the rest of his life and he'll still be huge.
It's still Drake, exactly.
Yeah, which I think is honestly a kind of a streaming based thing. I think we can get into this a bit too.
Yeah.
Like before, if you have a radio, there's limited slots, right? There's like the top, literally the top 40. So, after a while, people are gonna get bumped because it's like people are getting bored of this shit. Like there's someone else who is cutting the content besides the viewers. Like
exactly. You have like DJs that are kind of curating the music.
And eventually they're gonna get bored of it. Or like, you think Drake's new stuff is bad. There's gonna be people who are in charge of running the radio who think that, at least for some radios, and they're gonna just stop playing it as much. So now that there's streaming, it's kind of like there is none of that. He can produce whatever slop albums forever and it will always have views because there's people who follow him on Spotify who every time he releases an album, it's going to come out. People follow him on Instagram. Every time he releases an album, they're going to see it on their feed and they're going to click on it. Like there's sort of no more filter.
Right. Do you think that's a good thing for music overall, or do you think that's a bad thing for music overall? Or do you think it's like neither? Do you think it's just a thing?
I think it's neither. I think that it does kind of have a hole in the market right now I think people like that radio kind of style. I think you can see that with the playlists on Spotify, that there is a market for people. People want to be told what to listen to, and which is not a bad thing at all. I mean, it's good. Like you want to find new stuff. You want to hear the taste of other people, and you want to have a curated mix of stuff to listen to. So I think we are missing that a bit. I think it's been replaced by like the algorithm, by like the Spotify radio and the playlist and whatnot.
For sure. And I was going to say something related to that. I think if you think back in like the 90s or the 2000s with radio hits, there's all these trends, I guess you could say, with genres. Like obviously 90s, you have grunge going, and then it starts going towards pop punk and just more like rock-based pop music. But now I feel like it's so diverse and pop sound. Like, I mean, think about like you have Shabuzi. What's that song called? The Tipsy song. Like,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. Like that song is big, and then you had Brat was really big, and then you have like Sabrina Carpenter was really big, and I think a lot of that comes from TikTok, and I think that or any other sort of content or social media. And I think that plays such a huge role in what music is getting seen and recognized today. Because think about like, no youth is listening to the radio. Youth is on TikTok, and TikTok is purely based off of like the concept was originally Musical.ly, and you have like a song that you would dance to, right?
Right.
So I think that's kind of the modern radio for today's youth, and I think that plays a big role in like what is going to be popular as trends, I guess, in music. And it's definitely more back in like the 90s, I guess I'll go back to that. The radio is where you found your music on the radio, or you found your music on MTV, right? Now you're getting your music individually tailored to you through algorithms. So it's not as like I don't know how to say it exactly. It's not as individualized, or it's more individualized and less of like a hive mind of people getting behind an artist, if that makes sense. Like it still happens, but I mean, you think about like, I think it would be almost impossible for a band or an artist to be as big as one, let's say like Nirvana, for example, like worldwide phenomenon, like the biggest thing ever when they were releasing music. But artists like that come and go now, I feel like. Like, think about, like, Charlie XCX, for example. Like, obviously, she's not unpopular anymore. Like, it's Charlie XCX, and she was never unpopular. But when Brat was, like, this summer, when Brat was popping, she was the biggest artist in the world for a good few months. And, like, now, who's talking about her casually? Like, what casual people are talking about Charlie XCX right now? Like, no one. Like artists are coming and going faster than they ever have before in terms of popularity, which I think is really interesting and definitely has to play. I think social media and TikTok definitely plays a role in that to an extent.
For sure. I think you're 100% right. I mean, it's like TikTok is the new radio, and every person is kind of the curator, which is to say also that no one is the curator, because there is someone who decides what songs go on TikTok, and the labels pay to have their songs show up. When you go to add a sound to a video on TikTok, the songs that come up first are paid ads. It's not even like a secret. I haven't used TikTok in a while, but when I was using it, there would literally be like a section at the top that's like, I don't know what it's called, trending sounds, and it's clearly all paid ads. And it's not like a secret where it's like, oh, this is like a conspiracy. It's like, no, it's just ads. Like, you can pay to have your song put up there. And so I think most of the songs that are popular on TikTok are not paid like shills. I think it's just what people like. But it is definitely very interesting that it is fully shifted to that. Do you think that's better? Like, what do you answer now? You answer. Do you think that's better or worse overall,
I think
or nothing?
There's two sides of it. I think one, as an artist, I think it's easier than ever now to find your niche and make a audience and find that.
Yeah.
Because you have, like, you don't need a label to help you get onto the radio now. You can just post your song on streaming, post it on SoundCloud, you can post it on TikTok, and people can find it. And I will say, short form content algorithms are really good for being discovered. Whether you'll keep that following or not, that's a different thing. But people will, like, I remember I would post dumb TikToks that I put zero effort on and get like 5,000 to 10,000 views for nothing. Like, people will find your stuff. But the contrast of that is, I think people want to chase that and will try to create more catchy songs that aren't necessarily full of substance, that kind of lack that creativity that a lot of songs have had before. But also, that has been happening forever. Like, even with the radio, people are trying to make the biggest pop hit, you know? Like,
right.
And like, labels are pushing like these artists to kind of like sell out, I guess, quote unquote, to make a song that they know will blow up, but not necessarily is the most creative.
Yeah.
So overall, I don't know. I feel like I kind of have old head takes on that. I'm a big physical media guy, like a purist, I guess you could say.
Right.
So I kind of do miss the days before like TikTok trends kind of defined what music was. Because think about even like 2016 when SoundCloud was kind of defining what the rap scene was like, and you had all these artists that were kind of hungry, and you had like X, and you had Uzi, and you had Cardi kind of trying to come up in the world, just trying to make music. And I thought that was really cool, but they weren't really necessarily like trying to chase trends on a social media app. They're kind of just making music and posting it, which I think is a completely different thing. But now that's kind of, even SoundCloud's kind of faded into obscurity as of now, which is very interesting.
As a platform to like discover music, I think that's the thing though. It's split. Like, there is a huge SoundCloud audience, but it's just they listen to stuff on SoundCloud. Like, it's just split up, which in a way is kind of, it doesn't matter, because you're saying like the music is defined by TikTok, but in a way, like, your music isn't defined by TikTok. You don't listen to any of the popular TikTok stuff, so it's a plus and a minus. You know, I think the downside is that the only stuff that rises to the top is the most popular, catchiest stuff that is on TikTok.
Right. And it's always been that way, regardless of, like, before the internet, it's always been what's the catchiest stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's fully neutral. I think it just shifts the way things are. You know, that's just kind of how it is. Stuff is going to change over time.
I will say, though, I think if you're into music, like, if you're like a music nerd type of person, now is like better than ever to be a music nerd, because more people are releasing music than ever before, and music discoverability is so easy with like the streaming algorithms and like music discovery sites. Like, You can if you want to find new music, you can find new music.
Yeah.
It's so easy, and there's so much good stuff out there if that's what you're into. But as far as like the mainstream, I think it's a like trivial topic, right? Because I don't really, at the end of the day, I don't care about what's the mainstream like music is.
Right.
You know, I'm not listening to. I don't even have TikTok. Like I'm not listening to mainstream music, but I just do find it interesting, trends and whatnot, and how they all work out.
Yeah. Well, we're fucking here for it. All right. Now we're getting into what everyone fucking wanted to hear about.
Let's hear it. I'm curious.
You, Mr. West, are officially canceled.
Oh, the Kanye Twitter stuff.
Kanye crashed out, guys.
That was, I mean,
808. Think about it. 808s and heartbreaks. 808 equals crash out.
We saw it coming from when that album came out, 2009. I've seen that coming since 2009 when I was like 6 years old.
It was tragic. For those who don't know, Kanye West. Well, wait, sorry. Ye West.
Good correction.
Not posted a Super Bowl ad, paid millions of dollars to have a Super Bowl ad of himself at the dentist, blah, blah, blah. Go to Yeezy.com. And on Yeezy.com, there was a certain shirt. I don't know if we can say what it is or if we'll get like banned, but
I think you could probably guess what it is.
It
we don't
was
really
a
need
certain
to give it a symbol, you could say.
It was a certain symbol. And yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy that like one happened. He was also just going insane on Twitter. He's saying like fuck Virgil, fuck whoever. What else is he saying? Just
a bunch
just
of shit.
Crazy.
He started posting like porn and shit.
Yeah, just
like,
losing his mind. It's about that time of year again. It's been about, ironically, since we ended the last show, that was what was happening right around the time
I remember like one of the last episodes is when he first like kind of crashed out.
Yeah. And now we're back, baby. The Kanye cycle is repeated. Coincidentally, it's around the time of a new endeavor, a new Yeezy drop. I don't know why I'm saying that. Like I'm promoting it. Fuck Yeezy. Don't buy any Yeezy shit, especially not from Kanye. It's all fucking garbage nowadays anyway. But yeah, it's pretty fucking insane. It's insane that you can just have a Super Bowl ad and like they don't check what is on the site, or like maybe he changed the site.
It's crazy. Like, sorry, not to interrupt, but I think it's crazy that like they even accepted a Kanye ad to begin with. Like, obviously, like it's all about money, right? And he probably paid good money for it, but it's crazy that you can just buy that space as like a known like neo-Nazi, you know? Like, you can just pay like money to have your platform shown to millions of people. Like, that is crazy to me.
It is very interesting because I'm curious if, not that I think the Super Bowl is like this bastion of respect and true, peace, but it is interesting what line they would draw, like who they would and wouldn't allow to pay for an ad. Like, do the people who are in charge of that just not know what he's been up to recently? They hear Kanye,
no
they go,
way. Like, everyone has to know at this point.
You would think, right? But maybe they just truly don't care, which I'm not really surprised by. Of course, it's literally being broadcast by fucking Fox. If you think Fox is really, anti-Nazi, I don't really know.
They probably
what to
love
say.
him, bro. They probably eat that
probably.
shit up. I will say, I'm not going to name drop anyone. I'm not going to expose you one, but if you like the Kanye post about him posting that shirt, that is crazy to me. That is some crazy digital footprint that you're leaving out there.
Everyone go check. Go
just
check
be careful.
That post.
And I'm gonna put y'all on some game. We discovered this very recently, but if you're if you're a big Instagram Reels user, there's a feature now that you can click in the top right, and you can see the Reels of all the people that you follow and what they've been liking. So if you watch Reels, you better be careful what you're posting and liking.
Don't say that.
What you're liking.
It's gonna ruin our content. Yeah, there's a feed of every Reel that all your people you're following have liked, like a full separate feed of it. It's fucking insane. And
I will say, we this is very dystopian, but we were all hanging out the other day, and we just had it on the TV mirrored, and we probably it felt like 15 minutes, but we probably watched it for like an hour, hour plus.
Probably 2 hours.
Yeah, and like I will say, some of y'all might be watching this, and we did see some stuff by some of y'all that exposed you a little bit, so
some of y'all were lacking.
Not going to name drop anyone, but be careful, because we see everything. We are always watching. we are always watching.
It more so also exposes who is a prominent Reels user, because some people, man, you like a lot of random stuff. And I know if you're liking the stuff that I see that you're liking, you are out of content, because that is like that is 600, 700 Reels deep type of content. All the juice has been squeezed and you're just you're grasping for straws, you know? So yeah, stay on top of your Reels. Don't mess around.
Don't worry, I only like the best Reels. So if you get on that feed and you see me, you'll probably see some good ass content. So
yeah, okay. Also, Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, Instagram.com, the 808s.live Instagram. You can see it at the bottom of the screen on the overlay.
Yes, 808s.live Instagram. Also, we have a website. 808s.live, probably the best domain ever, if you ask me. Go check it out.
Domain.
We're still gonna add some stuff to it, but it's a cool little website, and obviously, like I said, probably the best domain of all time. So
yeah,
check that out if you've never seen it, and obviously, if you're here, you know the YouTube 808s live show. It's really cool. We got some cool stuff planned for that very soon.
Yes, keep your eyes peeled. Make sure to subscribe and like the video and comment your favorite fruit. No, we're gonna get some videos out soon. Yeah, that's like and subscribe.
Like, subscribe, ring that bell.
Isn't over. I don't know why we're saying this now.
We got 19 minutes.
We're locked in for the long haul. Okay, Kanye situation. We want to keep talking about that, or is
I had another topic, but unless I know you're a big Kanye guy.
No,
so.
the Kanye stuff it's
okay. Well, we can. I was gonna talk about music videos because we've been kind of a little music. Really. You need to stay off Reels, bro. Jesus Christ.
I'm on it right now. just jokes.
We
just
should
jokes
we need to put Reels just constantly scrolling in the corner up here. Like,
could we? Could we have Subway Surfer?
Up here, like we just have like Reels going down, up and down over here. Like I can't put my hand in frame, like right here.
The viewport is slowly chiseled away.
Until it's just all Reels,
all
Reels and Family Guy and shit like that. But yeah, we've been on like a little music video kick. I don't know. I feel like I like movies. I like music. I like TV, but I've never been like a music video guy for some reason. But recently we were hanging out, and we just didn't have anything to watch, and we watched some music videos. We watched some Schoolboy Q music videos. We watched
Shout out.
What was that song? The really good one.
John Muir.
Yeah, that was a really good music video. One that I really liked that I watched recently was Ain't It Funny by Danny Brown, which was directed by Jonah Hill, which was really cool because that came out in 2016, and that was before he was really like, because he directed mid-90s, but that didn't come out until like 2019 or something like that. So it was really cool to see him, especially with Danny Brown. It was a really cool music video. It was like a sitcom parody type of deal. There's some very graphic stuff in there, but it was really cool to see. Yeah. Very creative. Kind of went with the album. I'd feel like the vibe of it.
It makes you realize how dark that song is. Like,
yeah.
And that entire album, it's got a sort of a glaze of upbeat, energetic vocals and beats, but seeing it, the music video is really good, very dark. I think that reflects kind of like what the song is really about.
And I think that's kind of what's so beautiful about that album is obviously it's really upbeat. And it's really like, it's almost like party music, you know? And he's talking about all these drugs he's doing. He's like talking about how he doesn't want to go into rehab and stuff like that. And then but like the reality of that is it's not obviously good for him at all. And I think that music video does a really good job of visualizing that, because if you just listen to the music, like it just sounds like good party music.
Yeah. It's a funny juxtaposition because most partying music that is about doing drugs is sort of this rock star vibe of like, you know, doing drugs. That's fuck.
No, I get what you're saying. I think there is some sort of glorification of
glorification. What is wrong with me? I have a problem in my brain. What is actually wrong with me?
Reels, bro. It's because you said chop chin into the mic to the viewers.
No, it's glorifying drug. It's because I have no water. Let me quench my thirst. Keep talking.
Dude, there's no water in that either, bro. I'm cooked. Shit, I might need to quench my thirst after this too. What was I gonna say? Glorification of drugs, rock stars. What else do they glorify? Sex, women, money. I don't know. Speaking of Dave Grohl cheated on his wife not that long ago. And I was reading the comments on that, and everyone was really freaking out about it because they're like, Dave Grohl was the last rock star that wasn't doing bad stuff, and now he cheated on his wife. Like, every rock star cheats on their wife. Like, not saying you should be cheating on your wife or anything. I'm not a rock star, so I'm not condoning cheating on your wife. But I just find it so funny that people were so surprised that, like, that is like the hill they'll die on. That is, he cheated on his wife. Like,
Yeah.
Like there's like Diddy exists, and like people like that exist. Like John Lennon beat his wife, and he like doesn't really get that much flack for it.
But
Dave Grohl cheats on his what? You think he should? Yes, because I think the Beatles are overrated as fuck. I think John Lennon is not as talented as people think he is, and I think he beats his fucking wife. He did. He's dead now, but
okay, that
I need hydrated, bro.
okay.
Jesus.
You get. Quench your thirst. I don't know why we were saying that. All right, we've hit the time limit. 42 minutes is when this shit starts falling apart. Okay, for the record, at least I'll speak for myself. I think I'll speak for both of us. If you beat your wife, I should not laugh at that. That's not funny. That's extremely serious and extremely fucked up. Laughing. It's extremely fucked up and bad to hit anybody, especially your wife. And if you do that, you should get called out and canceled for it. And people should think it's lame. Also, I think cheating on your wife is also very lame, and you should get flack for that.
I agree. And I think there's just a level of like hypocrisy there. I don't know. Not that I really give like
it's hypocrisy in a good way. Like, people are coming around. They're saying, I agree. In the past, it was very much like, yeah, they're just a rock star or whatever. Like, whatever. We'll let it slide.
I agree. I think he should get flack for it to an extent. But I think not to an extent. I think he should get flack for it. But I just think it's funny that everyone's like, oh, like Dave Grohl is like such this like upstanding guy, and that he needs to be the one that like holds this level of like this standard of what a person should be. Like, he's the last good rock star type of guy. I just think it's very interesting that, because I don't know. I know a little bit about Dave Grohl. Like, I'm a big fan of Nirvana and Foo Fighters, but I don't really know a lot about his personal life. Like, I just thought it was like, it's crazy how big of a highlight him cheating on his wife was, because I feel like that just happens in the rock star community. Like, people do that. Not saying it's a good thing, but I like how we keep saying that after every time we have to put it out there that we do not.
I think that is a good thing to not condone, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, this is kind of related to the Kanye thing too. Where do you think that line is between like the artist's personal moral stuff that they do, whether it be promoting hate or cheating on your wife or whatever, versus their music? Like, can you still listen to his music after you know that he's cheated on his wife?
Yeah, I mean, I still do. Also, it's kind of different with, like, all of the music Dave Grohl's made was way before all of that. So that's a little different. But I think, like, Kanye's an interesting one because I definitely do feel a little weird listening to Kanye.
I would agree, yeah.
Like, I've went back and listened to, like, I was a big Kanye guy for a long time. And I still think his music it's good, like, obviously. But I used to be, like, Kanye is the best hip-hop artist of all time type of guy. And yeah, he's been really influential, but it is really weird going back and listening to his music now, considering, like, because he is, like, a terrible human being, you know? And I think there is a line to be drawn there, but I don't really know how to define it, I guess. But also with Kanye, his new music just sucks, regardless of his views.
Yeah.
Like, he could be, like, the best guy ever and drop that music and still be dog shit. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, like, think about he dropped that Christian album, Jesus is King. Like, there is some good stuff on there, but it was, like, not a great album. And that album was all about being Christian. Not saying being Christian is, like, you know, the best, like, upstanding thing ever either. But, you know, that's an objectively better thing than being a Nazi, I would say.
Probably.
So I think that, like, regardless of that, I don't know where I was going with this, but Kanye bad, and his morals are bad, and his music now is bad. And it kind of makes me view his music differently now.
The past music, you mean?
Yeah. I think, like, it's also a little weird, too, because, one, I've listened to so much Kanye that I'm kind of burnt out by it at this point. And two, like I said earlier, I just am not listening to hip-hop really anymore. Like, I've been on a rock kick. And then when I do listen to hip-hop, it's very, like, it's either, like, super online, like, net spin type of stuff, or it's, like, super industrial sound. Like, I've been listening to, like, Death Grips and I'm going back to JPEG Mafia and type of stuff. I'm not really listening to like, if I am listening to like more like traditional type of hip hop, it's kind of like your Joey Badass type of stuff and like Kendrick's old stuff and like even some of the new gen type of guys like Mike and Sideshow and like that side of hip hop and not necessarily like what Kanye made, I guess. Even though he was falling in that category a little bit, but not as much.
Did Kanye fall off?
Yes. It is crazy. Like, do you think if Kanye dropped an album to the level of his past albums, like let's say like, I don't know, Nate, and what's your favorite Kanye album?
Probably Life of Pablo.
Yeah, like I'm a T-Lop guy. I think my favorite, I don't know, Late Registration is good.
I like Yeezus.
I think for this example, let's say My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, because one, that album is super epic sounding and like super grand, but two, I mean, he was kind of in a similar boat in a different situation. Like that was right after the Taylor Swift incident, and like he was very hated by society then, and then he dropped that album and he kind of came back. So do you think if Kanye dropped an album at that level again, would he be redeemed by society? Or do you think it's past that point now?
That's a very good question. I think he was close. This is what's so bizarre about the Kanye situation. He was close. He just shut the fuck up for a few months, like 6 months. He released some fucking apology saying, I'm sorry. And like it was kind of done. Like he released the Yeezy shit before the Super Bowl ad, like a few weeks before. I didn't see the comments full of hatred or anything. And I think honestly, the people who are, if you're a kid and you're a Kanye fan, you're kind of edgy, that you just write that shit off. Not that that's the right thing to do. I think it's fucked up.
No, it definitely happens though. I mean,
but
I'm seeing people wearing Vultures merch here. Like,
yeah. I mean, literally, when I was younger, Lil Darky was a popular artist. Like, the kids don't give a fuck about.
Is Lil Darky about? Like, I don't know anything about. I just know his content.
I mean,
like
yeah,
But I mean, think about like Tyler though. I mean, his like whole
dude, Lil Darky is not anywhere near the level of Tyler.
About Lil Darky. I just know that like his.
If you look at his like character that's on everything, I think that gives you all you need to know.
I don't know what it is. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna talk.
It's bad. Lil Darky promotes. Hot take here. Lil Darky promotes racism against black people.
Yeah,
there you go.
Like I don't even know.
I think he's like Hispanic.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't fucking know anything about Lil Darky, but I guess like what were we talking about? Kanye fucking coming back. I think that would be such an interesting timeline that I hope it happens. Like, I think it would be so interesting if Kanye dropped, like, his best album of all time, which I don't even think he's capable of it.
I think the nitrous has cooked his brain.
Yeah.
I genuinely do think that is part of his decline in all aspects, is that he's pretty publicly consuming nitrous heavily, which if you don't know, nitrous... can we even say this? I feel like we're going to be banned. I'm on the nitrous, like that meme. Yeah, he's doing an inhalant, which is probably pretty bad over the long term to your brain. So
yeah, and I mean, he doesn't even produce his own stuff anymore. Like I think Vultures 1 and 2 wasn't even produced by him, and he's got fucking Ty Dolla $ign on his
Todd
Dillerson making music for him now. So I don't think he's capable of making another. Like I don't think it'll ever happen because one, he's just not capable of thinking that creatively anymore. Two, he's just gone off the deep end. I don't think he'll ever give up his Nazi shtick. Like I think that's just him now.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, back to the point. Like he almost was past it. Like I think if he would have never said that anything again, he would have fucking moved forward, just shut up, just kept it pushing, released the Yeezy, released new music. In a year, 2 years, it would have been under the rug. It would have been the classic thing. They always like. We're getting deep into the weeds here, but I feel like it's a classic meme. Like, oh, he has mental health problems, he's bipolar, whatever. It would have just been written off as that. Like it is every time. Every time he does something crazy, every time he gets head on a boat, every time whatever happens, it's always like he's just in a manic episode. He's just in a manic episode, and he probably is in a manic episode.
I mean, think about like not to like reference random TV shows, but like the whole BoJack Horseman shtick is that like you can be a famous celebrity and be really bad, and no one's gonna give a fuck after 6 months if you just like fake an apology, you know?
Exactly, and more so because he does seem to have. I'm not his doctor, obviously, and I don't know really what he has said on record. I think now he's saying he's autistic, which is a bad call if you want to write this stuff off because I don't know what he thinks autism is. If that's gonna give him some pass on this or what, I don't know. Yeah, it's ridiculous. He's gonna say the same. I'm sure in the next 6 months it will come out again. People will write it off. They'll write it off forever. But if you have to stop doing it. At some point, you have to stop and you have to say, even if he does believe this stuff, which I'm sure he does, it's very apparent. I remember hearing stuff when this was happening originally that people, insiders, quote unquote, the Kanye camp were saying, yeah, he's been on to this like anti-Semitic weird stuff for a long time, just wasn't public, and now it's public. Like, at what point do you call it off? Like, are the sales of Yeezy going up? Why is he doing this? It's to promote Yeezy, right? Yeah. It's to promote this shirt. He's going to sell a shirt and try to make money off of a shirt. It's to promote an album, it was before. But, like, is that really a successful strategy? Is it better to just be hated? Like, no one listens to music. No one is like, I'm listening to this Kanye album because I hate him so much.
Check the chat. The chat rate is going up.
All right, let's read the chat.
What do you have to say about it?
Are people really going to buy a shirt with that symbol? I don't know if I'm allowed to say what that is. I can't see
because the polls and the. I think nothing. The Boom Network. I think it's Ty because he said, I'm not gonna expose him here, but he said I don't know how he's making money genuinely. Yeah,
I think he did the Vultures merch, which it's kind of ironic because when the Vultures merch dropped, it was heavy symbolism in it that people pointed out, and it was immediately just brushed off by all the kids. They say, no, it's this.
What's so
interesting
this. About that merch is it was so fucking cheap. It was like $10 a shirt or
because
less. Yeah. It is so
because they didn't make a shirt, they just cut a neck hole, like one slice in the shirt to make a neck hole. Terrible. Yeezy has fell the fuck off. Yeezy Gap it will be the last passable Yeezy product ever released. Mark my fucking words.
Are you wearing Yeezy Gap right now?
No, I'm not. Oh, I do like Yeezy Gap. That was before he was bad though. So no.
And if you buy Yeezy Gap secondhand, it doesn't count.
Yeah, if you buy Yeezy Gap secondhand, if you buy okay, why would you want to buy Kanye merch now? That seems a bit bizarre. If you why would you want to wear hate symbols on your clothing? If you do want that, maybe do buy it from Kanye. Actually, I don't know what you should do. If that's your genuine belief, you probably have other problems.
I don't think anyone. I would hope that no one that genuinely believes in that stuff is watching.
I'm looking at you, the Boom Network. No, I'm just kidding. All right, we got a few minutes left. What are we talking about?
Do you want to? Maybe we could each talk about maybe an album or something we've been listening to recently and discuss that.
You want to go first?
You want to go first?
Okay. Yeah, let's pull it up.
I've been listening to. I don't know if I can give anything I could recommend, but I've been listening to In Utero by Nirvana a lot recently. Like I've loved that album for a while. For a while, I was very much like not a Nirvana guy. I'd say I didn't get into Nirvana until like fall of 2024. And at first I listened to In Utero and I really, really liked it. And then I got into Nevermind. And for a while since then, that has been my favorite Nirvana album. And I've basically been listening to Nirvana on repeat since then. But as of recently, I've been going to the gym and listening to In Utero, and that album has clicked with me again. And I love it. I think it's incredible. I think the raw energy and production. Shout out Steve Albini, rest in peace. He did a great job mixing and producing that album. Incredible. I love the raw sound of it. I love how, despite them being the biggest band in the world, they kept with their sound and made something even more raw and energetic and giving credit to their punk roots. It's great. It's awesome. Obviously, you probably fucking heard it, but if you haven't heard it, go listen to it. I guess, like, on a more underground level, there's this, I don't know. I've not been listening to a lot of albums. I've just been listening to random songs, like, some random Midwest emo stuff, like, shout out Cap and Jazz, shout out Brave Little Abacus, lots of stuff like that, part of, like, the Midwest emo roots. Yeah, I don't know. What about you? What have you been listening to? Some good stuff? I hope so.
Nothing. Honestly, I fucking hate listening to music.
Yeah. Shit kind of sucks.
Yeah, I'm done. Music sucks now. No. I've been listening to a lot of random stuff. I'm kind of in a slump. I've been listening to my like songs on shuffle, which I never do. I literally have never done this before. I'm saying like that's some crazy thing, but That's not how I listen to music. If I listen to my like songs, I listen to it in chronological order.
I will say I'm kind of with you there. Like if I am very much the type of person. If I like a song right now, I will listen to it like 4 times a day.
Yeah.
And I want to hear like if I'm gonna do something like my version of that is going to like my on repeat and listening to that on shuffle. I feel like, but I'm always like I've been listening to albums more recently and just I have like a playlist that I'll listen to, my like general playlist, I guess.
Yeah. I don't make playlists. I just do my like songs and I listen to it in chronological order starting from most recent. And yeah, that's not been cutting it. I've been listening to it on shuffle. It's kind of fun. You find some deep cuts. It feels like it's not really random. Maybe this is a conspiracy. We can dig into it a later time.
On Spotify?
The shuffle algorithm,
100%.
I don't think it's random.
I don't think it is either. I think there's some basis of what you've been listening to recently and kind of what you want to hear.
Yeah, because I know there is hella slop in my like songs. There is some deep ass cuts and it's not playing them. And it's playing recent songs, which is bizarre to me. But I will say one thing that I listened to is there's a new Z Loopers album produced by Real Bad Man.
Yeah, what was it called?
It's called Dear Psilocybin.
Yeah, Dear Psilocybin. I listened to that a little bit actually.
Did you like it?
Whatever songs I didn't like turn it on. It kind of just came on. I liked it. It was a cool sound. I really do want to go listen to it front to back because I think I turned on another new. I think it was the Mike album. Maybe I played a song off of that and it like cued into that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I've always been a big Z Loopers guy. We saw him live. You were there.
We did see him live.
We saw him live. We were kind of like really close to him. Like he was kind of just walking through the crowd, and I was like, I didn't know what he looked like because he's tall as fuck. He's my height, and I was like, I didn't know what he looked like, and he was just kind of there, and I was like, oh, that's Z Loopers. Like that's cool. Apparently, he's not that good of a guy. I don't know if you know anything about his personal
I don't know
life,
anything about this.
He's a visual artist as well, so he likes to paint and stuff. And apparently he's really bad at like he will scam people. Like people will buy art off him and he will just never send it. Which is, respect the hustle, I guess, but probably not the best thing to do. But damn, that was a while ago. That was a crazy concert. Z Loopers, Mavi, wasn't Certified Trapper supposed to be there and he never showed up.
Yeah.
Bruiser Wolf was there. Shout out Bruiser Wolf. He was right behind us. He was just chilling.
Yeah.
Unk in the crowd.
He was wearing a Dr. Umar pen and pixel bootleg tee.
Yeah, that was crazy. I forgot about that. That was a cool concert. Yeah, that Z Loopers album was really cool. I gotta listen to it. I might listen to it tonight actually.
Yeah. Do you know about Real Bad Man? I
do not.
He produced this album by Boldy James. You probably have seen that.
Yeah.
He produced this album by Boldy James.
It's so interesting because Boldy James does have about 1 million albums, so I've probably seen it but don't know it off the top of my head.
He's good. I think if you like The Alchemist, you would like Real Bad. Real Bad Man is like what The Alchemist wants to be. That's maybe a hot take, but I think The Alchemist
is a certified Alchemist hater.
Yeah, I don't fuck with The Alchemist. Not that I like hate him or anything. I mean, he's cool. He makes decent beats, but I think Real Bad. If you like The Alchemist, you will like Real Bad Man, and their music is
That's kind of
definitely
how I feel about
better.
Cookin' Soul a little bit.
Yeah,
I think that Cookin' Soul doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. But I think he does have a similar sound to Alchemist. I think there's some more soul influence, obviously in the name. Definitely more chops going on there, but I don't know. I think the thing about The Alchemist is, well, this could be the last thing before we went over our limit a little bit here. But I think The Alchemist, it's just really hard because it's so saturated now, and it's not his fault. But think about like back in the day, anytime you play a song, what's the next song to play? Some Alchemist song.
Yeah.
E. coli, Loose Change.
Loose Change.
Ocean Prime.
Ocean Prime.
Dude, we've literally heard every single Alchemist song to the point where we hate it now. And it's like, I used to love those songs. Like, obviously so much that I would listen to them all the time. And it just kind of sucks for him now because his stuff is being overplayed and it's not really his fault. But I will say, I think it's really cool that like he produced on the that Travis Scott out, Utopia. Is that yeah. Utopia. He had a song on there, and he did he produce a Drake song? I know Conductor did.
That was crazy.
That was wild.
Fucking wild.
I did like that. It was just kind of basic boom bap, but I think Drake's voice and his rapping does go well with that. So that was the last good Drake project I really liked. Whatever that was. It was like a deluxe for one of his albums, but
Yeah.
In conclusion, I think The Alchemist is good, but it does suck that like I definitely don't listen to him as much anymore.
He's
either.
mid.
He
He's
did
mid.
just drop his album with, of all people, Larry June and 2 Chainz collab album with The Alchemist, which I don't like 2 Chainz that much. And I like Larry June a little bit, but not enough to go listen to full album by him. But I don't know. Maybe I'll listen to a song or two and see how it sounds.
I mean, the thing is with The Alchemist, we got to wrap it up, but the thing with The Alchemist is he makes tight beats, which is ironic to say because he made the genre that then became the type beat, the Alchemist type beat. But he doesn't make interesting beats, at least anymore. There's some hits, yes. His main power is that he can get big names on a tape together, which is very interesting. It's cool to see a project with a bunch of people that you like on it. And it's cool to see them all rap on these kind of like themed albums like Ocean Prime and stuff like that. You know, it's cool. He gets artists like Earl who don't drop a lot of music. He pulls them out for these little singles and puts it onto a tape. And it's like a little check-in. You get to listen to the tape and it's all your faves, which is good. That is a good thing. And I like him for that.
Strength.
Yeah.
I would say like his production is like good. It's not like outstanding. It's not amazing. It's good. And it's like very good. He knows what he can do and he does it well. But like I think a good comparison is like as Madlib. Because they kind of have a similar sound, do similar things. I think The Alchemist is kind of more mainstream friendly, I guess, version of Madlib. I think Madlib, especially if you go into like his Quasimodo work, is very out there when it comes to his production. Like it's got that boom bap sound still, but it's almost like it's psychedelic sounding. He does very weird stuff with it. I don't think The Alchemist really does that, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you think that, like I said earlier, that's his sound. He knows what it is and he sticks with it. Like you don't have to necessarily go outside of that box, but I think definitely what I like about music is when people experiment with their sound. And I think as far as The Alchemist, he doesn't really do that. So I kind of get what you're saying about not necessarily liking him as much as other producers.
Yeah,
and I could definitely agree with
Real
you.
Bad Man is that sound, but experimental and executed very well. It's a lot of like heavy like vocal samples and stuff. All right, whatever. That's kind of the end of that.
All right, well.
Thank you for watching. Everyone go follow the Instagram.
At 808s.live? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I don't even know our own fucking
808s.live is Instagram. 808s.live is also the website. You type that into your browser and you will get
Check
to
it
our
out.
fucking website.
Yes.
It has all the links. The YouTube channel, obviously, if you're watching this, subscribe, like and subscribe.
If you're watching this, let us know some feedback. What you thought, what you loved, what you hated. I
Yeah.
that's what Fantano said. I just jacked that from him. I don't know.
Actually, put in the chat what is up. Is the audio good? I was fucking with the audio a bit. Is it too loud? Is it too quiet?
You guys like the video? That's a new aspect that we didn't have
Yeah,
before.
do you like the overlay? Is the overlay good? Is it distracting? Is it too bright? Sound off.
We'd love all the feedback we can get because we're going to build the biggest radio show of all time. So
We are building an empire.
We're not in the radio show business. We're in the empire business.
Y'all are at the ground floor. And just know every single person who's watching this now, you will be fucking engraved into the walls of our palace when it is built.
Rich. Maybe.
Y'all are all coming with us, and we're going straight to the top, baby.